We are now in Act 4, Scene 1 of Julius Caesar, written by William Shakespeare. And we have just finished Act 3, where we saw that Mark Antony has made the fullest use of his opportunity to talk to the people of Rome on the occasion of Julius Caesar's funeral. What he wants actually is, he wants Julius Caesar's death to be avenged, and he feels that it was the most unfair job done on the part of the conspirators, and he wants them to literally pay for that. And if he actually motivates the crowd is the best person, the crowd is the best way in which this can be answered. So he has done that. He actually was very meek in the beginning, and he was he decided to talk to the crowd in a very meek and gentle way, and he says that Brutus is an honorable man, and all the conspirators are definitely honorable men according to their version, that is the conspirators' version. He agrees to it. Mark Antony agrees to it, and then eventually and gradually he steals into the minds of the commoners, and he ruffles their spirit up, and he just makes them stand in favor of Julius Caesar and against the conspirators, leading to a mutiny and a state of great enragement in the country. So we found in the last scene of Act 3 that the commoners, they were after a person named Cinna, and they thought him to be one of the conspirators and decided to tear him to pieces, though he was not actually Cinna the conspirator. He is actually Cinna the poet. This is the situation Mark Antony has literally forced the country into. So it is a complete case of indiscipline and terrific that is enragement, and people are not happy at all. They want to pull down, they want to tear, they want to bomb, they want to kill, and they want to kill the murderers, of course, the murderers of Julius Caesar. Now, when we talk about assassination and the murder, why do we say assassination and when do we say murder? Assassination is actually murder only, killing only, but when we refer to the killing of a person who's eminent and who is very prominent in society, we say that this person has been assassinated. Alright, now to remind you, you're in Teacher Shumana's class, and we are going to start Act 4, Scene 1, and you have to just listen to it carefully, go through the video till the end, and do subscribe my channel, and do put a like if you are really impressed by it, and you can come up with your doubts in the comment section. After I finish teaching of Julius Caesar, I will help you to learn to write answers. It can be reference to the context, it can be short answers. If I do short answers, I feel if I make you practice short answers, short questions from in between the lines, you can be able to answer MCQs as well as the short answers of the reference to the context 1 and 2 mark answers. That is, the chapter becomes thorough. That is the way I go on. I hope you'll enjoy. Let's begin Act 4. Scene 1. Rome, a room in Antony's house. Antony, Octavius and Lepidus seated at a table. So who are the characters here? And the scene here, it's in Rome, of course. The entire the drama is taking place in Rome, and it is a room in Antony's house. Antony, here you find Antony, Octavius and Lepidus seated at a table. Antony, these many shall die, their names are pricked. Octavius says, Your brother too must die. Consent you, Lepidus? Consent you? Consent you, Lepidus? Lepidus says, I do consent. That is, they are actually making a list of the people who they are going to kill in order to gain full power of the country, and in order to take control of the situation of unrest which has been created by Antony as a result of the murder of Julius Caesar. So Antony says these many shall die. So he is making a list and he is saying these are the people who have to die. Their names are pricked. That is, their names are marked. Okay. Octavius says, your brother too must die. Consent you, Lepidus? That Lepidus, do you agree that your brother also has to die? Do you agree? So Lepidus says, I do consent. Yes, I do agree. I do give consent that my brother also has to die. And so Octavius says, prick him down, Antony. That is, Antony, you please mark him that he has to die. Lepidus says, upon condition Publius shall not live, who is your sister's son, Mark Antony. So upon condition, Lepidus says, Publius shall not live, who is your sister's son. So Lepidus's brother will not live, and Mark Antony's sister's son by the name Publius, he will also not live. That is what Lepidus is saying. So Mark Antony says, he shall not live. Look, with a spot I damn him. That is okay. He will also not live, and with the spot I damn him. That is, I am marking him. That is his name also is pricked according to the language. His name also is pricked, and I look, with a spot I damn him. I mark him that he will not be allowed to live as well. But Lepidus, go you to Caesar's house. Now Lepidus, you go to Caesar's house. Fetch the will hither. That is, bring the will here. From where? From Caesar's house. Where is it in Caesar's house? We have come to know about it in the previous act. It is in Caesar's closet. Okay, we have come to know from Mark Antony, that it is in Caesar's closet. Fetch the will hither, and we shall determine how to cut off some charge in legacies. And we will just determine. We will just see how to cut off some charges in the legacies. That is, there are many conditions which are given there. That is, so many things have to be given and all, and they are going to consider and reconsider as to what has to be actually done, and they have to cut off the charges. They have got to cut off reduce the expense. Okay. Lepidus, what shall I find you here, or at the Capitol? Now I hope you have understood this part. Fetch the will hither, and we shall determine how to cut off some charge in legacies. Now what is a legacy? Legacy is something which has been passed down from one generation to the other, and actually Caesar, he has in his will mentioned that the citizens of Rome has to be given 75 drachmas each, and these leaders, the leaders Antony, Octavius and all, they are deciding that how to cut off some charge in legacies. They want to cut off some expenses in the legacies which have been conferred already by Julius Caesar. Now, Lepidus says, what, shall I find you here, or at the Capitol? So either here or at the Capitol. Either you will be finding me here or at the Capitol. Okay. He says, Octavius says, or here or at the Capitol. So that is either here or at the Capitol. Now exit Lepidus. He goes away. Where does Lepidus go? He goes away to Julius Caesar's house to collect the will and to bring it to Antony and Octavius, where what are they going to do? what have they asked for the will for? They have asked for the will so that they can cut off some charge, they can cut off some expenses in the legacies. Antony says, this is a slight unmeritable man. Whom does he talk about? He is talking about Lepidus. This is a slight unmeritable man. He is a very insignificant man, a man without dignity, a man without respect, a very insignificant man, very unmeritable man, that is, he calls. Okay. Meet to be sent on errands. That is, he is a man who is fit to be sent on errands. That is, what is an errand? Errand is to go and come back, to bring something from somewhere and to take something from somewhere. That is just the without the use of the brain. That is, you make the person run around and do something. So how to cut maybe meet to be sent on errands. Is it fit? The threefold world divided, he should stand one of the three to share it. That is, he is a person, Lepidus happens to be a very, very insignificant person. Is it fit? That is, is it fitting for him? Does it suit him that when the threefold world, when it is divided into Europe, Africa and Asia, that he is fit to be one, to share it? No, he doesn't look so important as that. The threefold world divided, he should stand one of the three to share it. That is, look at something, they are making Lepidus run around and do bits of work according to their necessity, but they do not respect him at all. That is the way he is talking in this way. Who is talking in this way? Mark Antony. Okay. Octavius says, so you thought him, that is, well, you have thought that he is important, and took his voice, who should be pricked to die in our black sentence and proscription. So that is, Octavius says, well, you thought him to be important, and that is the reason you were asking for his opinion regarding who should be allowed to live and who should die in according to our black list and proscription, according to our black sentence and proscription. Okay, so what is a black sentence? It is a sentence of exile. It is a sentence of death. So that is a list which has been made by Antony, Octavius, and by which people are enlisted so that these many people should die. So Octavius says, if you do not feel that he is important, why are you taking his opinion? To that, Antony says, Octavius, I have seen more days than you. Which means Antony is older to Octavius and says, Octavius, I have seen more days than you. And though we lay these honors on this man to ease ourselves of diverse slanderous loads, that is, there are a hell of a lot of work which has to be done. And we are just making him do that work. Mark Antony says, I am older to you, Octavius, and though we lay these honors on this man, we are giving these honors, putting these honors on this man so that he is able to feel important and go around and do these many bits of work. However, why are we doing this? To ease ourselves of diverse slanderous loads. That is, there are a lot of loads which has to be carried to relieve ourselves of the burden of being criticized for the wrong, for the supposed wrong that we are doing, for their actions. That is, the entire blame will be put on Lepidus, and they will just sit back and take the advantage, and they will just enjoy the situation, and they will enjoy the power and make Lepidus do all the base work, and eventually Lepidus will be blamed and they won't be. So they are just shaking of the burden of criticism on Lepidus, and they are being free. He shall but bear them as the ass bears gold. The ass, when a donkey is carrying gold, the donkey doesn't know that he is carrying gold, and the donkey carries it from one place to another, but the donkey doesn't get the advantage of gold. The gold is being carried by the donkey from one place to another. The advantage is being taken by the people who are making use of the donkey, but actually the donkey is not benefited in any way. To groan and sweat under the business, the donkey is only getting tired working it out, working things, and the donkey is actually spending all the energy to do the work which he has been assigned, and he does not actually is benefited from that. Either to groan and sweat under the business, either led or driven. Either he is led or driven, somebody is driving him, or he is being led with a rope. He is just being led, he is being shown the way. As we point the way, and having brought our treasure where we will, that is, having brought the treasure where we will means where it is supposed to be taken according to us, where we decide that the treasure will be taken, the donkey takes it to that place. Then take we down his load, then we take down his load and turn him off, like to the empty ass, to shake his ears and graze in commons. That is, after we take off the load from him, that is, we take off the treasure from him, he is allowed to just graze in commons and to shake his ears and be happy with that. He is no more important, except that he can be called in again to do some work, to run an errand for them, to do some work for them. He is only of that much importance. He is not important any further. Octavius says, you may do your will, but he is a tried and valiant soldier. That is, sorry. Octavius says that, okay, you can do things according to the way you wish to, but he is a tried and valiant soldier. But he is definitely a tried soldier. He is a brave soldier. But well, you do according to your wish. Antony says, if he is tried and valiant, to that he says, so is my horse, Octavius, and for that I do appoint him a store of provender. That is, my horse is also valiant. And for that, what do? I do appoint him store of provender. That is, I allow him grains. I allow him his food. That is what I do to him, because he is valiant. It is a creature that I teach to fight. That is, according to a horse, Antony is comparing Lepidus to his horse, and he is saying that it is a creature that I teach to fight. It is simply a creature that I teach to fight, to wind, to stop, to run directly on. That is, whatever I am teaching him, he is doing. His corporal motion governed by my spirit. Whatever he is doing, his bodily motion, it is governed by my spirit, with the way I tell him, with my ideas. And in some taste is Lepidus but so. In some way, Lepidus is exactly that. He is nothing more than that. He must be taught and trained and bid go forth. That is, he must be taught, he must be trained, and then asked to move forward. It is only that it is only then that he does it. A barren spirited fellow, he actually doesn't have any inner qualities. One that feeds on objects, arts and imitations, he is actually a barren spirited fellow. He says that is, he doesn't have anything from within. It is only that things that have to be put inside him that he will move. He feeds on what others have done. He only imitates. That is what he is. He feeds on what others, the objects, arts and the imitations which out of use and staled by other men. Anything that other men have left and they are not using anymore is then used up by Lepidus. Where other people finish off, they are staled. That is, they use it staled. It's out of use for other people. Lepidus starts using his ideas from there. He begins his fashion there with the things that are thrown away by other people after getting used. Do not talk of him but as a property. He is just a property, but do not talk of him more than that. And now Octavius, listen great things. That is, Lepidus's matter is over now. He goes on to something else. Let's see what. Brutus and Cassius are living powers. We must straight make head. And therefore, they are living powers. They are training up their armies, and they are getting their armies charged up. So we must make straight head. That is, we must move straight on towards them, and therefore let our alliance be combined. So therefore let our alliance be combined. Let our armies meet. We will collect together, become more powerful, and then move on towards Brutus and Cassius. Our best friends, and therefore let our alliance be combined, our best friends made, our means stretched, and let us presently go sit in council, that is, let us please sit in conference, how covert matters may best be disclosed, and open perils surest answered. That is, open perils, the dangers which they are about to face from them, let them be surest answered. That is, they have to come out victorious. But before that, Mark Antony wants Octavius and Mark Antony to be seated in conference and to discuss matters and make their alliance a very powerful one. They want to combine, make their alliance combine and make themselves a very powerful one, so that they can go and answer the perils in a very confident way. Octavius says, let us do so, for we are at the stake. So he says, let us do so, for we are at the stake and bade about with many enemies. And some that smile have in their hearts, I fear, millions of mischiefs. Some that smile have in their hearts, I fear, millions of mischiefs. That is, the bear getting bayed, it is tied to a stake. It has been a very cruel pastime of the Shakespearean age, especially, and the bear, it used to be hunted down. Actually, it is a very, very cruel system, and it was set upon by some mastiff dogs. Used to be, they used to jump upon and pounce on the bear, and the bear would be tied to a stake. So he says, Octavius says, for we are at the stake and weighed about with many enemies. That is, we are weighed about, that is, many enemies are waiting to pounce upon us. And some that smile have in their heart, some are perhaps smiling at us, some are behaving very well, but I fear that they have in their hearts millions of mischiefs. That is, they are not at all thinking good of us. They are actually thinking how to harm us, how to pull us down. They have millions of dangerous thoughts in their hearts for us. With that, we finished scene 1 of Act 4. The conversation of Antony and Octavius mainly. Lepidus was there, and Lepidus was there in the beginning, and he has been asked to go away. Where has Lepidus gone? Lepidus has gone to fetch the will from Caesar's house, And after Lepidus goes away, just imagine Mark Antony, he is making Lepidus do such a lot of work, and yet in his heart he doesn't have a bit of respect for that person. So that is what Mark Antony is. He knows, he just wants to get his job done. And when Antony says that he is whatever you talk about him, he is a very tried and valiant soldier, he compares him to his horse. But before that, before he is comparing him to a horse, he compares him to an ass. The two animals which Antony compares Lepidus to keep things in mind. That is, the two animals which Antony compares Lepidus to are an ass and his horse. Why an ass? Because an ass only bears the burden and is not benefited by it. So Lepidus is actually doing that. Rather, Antony is making him do that, and in return he says that he is not fit to share the position of the threefold world, the world divided into Europe, Africa and Asia. Though Lepidus is doing such a lot for them, he is simply throwing him out. So if he is throwing him out, so definitely the number of people who are there at the top are getting lessened, so his power increases. And then when Octavius says that Lepidus is actually a very tried and valiant soldier, he says, my horse is similar to that. I teach my horse to fight, I teach my horse to move, and he moves. And the same thing is true for Lepidus and nothing else. Just, Antony's character can very well be understood from here. And now as we enter scene 2, now after that, in scene 1, Octavius and Antony, they have decided to get their alliance combined and to come to a conclusion that they have to get united so that they can face their enemies. And Octavius says that he compares themselves to the bear tied to a stake, and he feels that there are many enemies baying around who are only perhaps showing a very smiling face, but they are actually their enemies, and they are capable of performing a lot of mischiefs, and they can be very, very dangerous. Now it's time for scene 2 of Act 4. Let's proceed. Scene 2. Before Brutus's tent in the camp near Sardis. Well, so in the camp near Sardis, drum enter Lucilius, Pindarus, and soldiers enter Brutus and Lucius from Brutus's tent. So Brutus and Lucius, Lucius is Brutus's caretaker man. He works for him, and he is actually always he stays with him, and he comes out from Brutus's tent. All right. Brutus says, "Stand, ho." Lucilius, "Give the word, ho, and stand." Brutus says, "What now, Lucilius? Is Cassius near?" Lucilius says, "He is at hand, and Pindarus is come." That is, he is at hand means he is nearby, and Pindarus is come. Pindarus is the man working for Cassius, and he has come to do you salutation from his master. Who has come? Pindarus has come to do you salutation from his master. Pindarus gives a letter to Brutus. Brutus says, "He greets me well. Your master Pindarus, in his own change or by ill officers, had given me some worthy cause to wish things done undone." Brutus says, "He greets me well. Your master Pindarus, in his own change, that is, he has changed or by ill officers, had given me some worthy cause to wish." That is, Cassius has made clear that the things which Brutus has done should not have been done by him. Sorry. It should not have been done by him, and he has voiced his thoughts also. But if he be at hand, I shall be satisfied. That is, if he is nearby, then I shall be able to give him a good explanation. Pindarus, I do not doubt but that my noble master will appear such as he is, full of regard and honor. That is, Pindarus, he has full faith in his master, and he says, that is, I do not doubt that my master will be very well mannered, and he will be full of regard and honor, and he is not what you're saying, like, he is very decent, and he is full of regard and honor for you. Brutus says, he is not doubted. That is, I am not doubtful about that. Now, aside to Lucilius, he says, a word, Lucilius, how he received you, let me be resolved. That is, Lucilius, how has Cassius behaved with you when you went to visit him? How has he received you? Lucilius says, with courtesy and with respect enough, but not with such familiar instances, not with such free and friendly conference as he hath used of old. That is, in the past, Cassius used to be very warm and very friendly, and of late, when Lucilius has gone to talk to him, he has definitely received him with reasonable warmth. However, it is perhaps not similar to the way he used to behave previously. So he is saying, not with such free and friendly conference as he hath used of old. That is, in the past he used to be more friendly and he used to bear a very free and friendly attitude, but now his attitude has changed. Brutus says, thou hast described a hot friend cooling. That is, a warm friend freezing perhaps. According to what Lucilius has said, Brutus has come to this conclusion. Ever note, Lucilius, when love begins to sicken and decay, that is, when love begins to just go away, it sicken and decay, it uses an enforced ceremony. That is, people are putting on a forced show to appear normal, but it is actually not so. They are forcefully appearing friendly, forcefully appearing normal, and extending respectful and a good behavior, but actually it is in a state of decay. There are no tricks in plain and simple faith. There are no tricks in plain and simple faith. That is, if it is there, you can understand. It comes from within. But hollow men, like horses hot at hand, make gallant show and promise of their mettle. Horses, they are when they are hot at hand, they are nearby. They have been trained. They make a gallant show. But actually, it becomes becomes a very cold behavior after that, a very cold one. That passion, the intensity of that passion is no longer there. So he says, Brutus says, thou hast described a hot friend cooling. Ever note, Lucilius, When love begins to sicken and decay, it uses an enforced ceremony. There are no tricks in plain and simple faith, but hollow men, like horses hot at hand, make gallant show and promise of their mettle. That is, of their qualities, they make a very gallant show of it. Now lo march within, but when they should endure the bloody spur, that they fall their crests like deceitful jades. But when they have to meet that bloody situation, they fall upon their knees as though. They fall upon their crests and they're like deceitful jades. That is, they are not there anymore to fight. The horses' necks are proudly arching upwards. Now when they are supposed to meet the bloody spur, that is during the battle, they put their necks down. They refuse to fight and move on. So they sink in the trial. That is, this is what is happening to a warm relation, according to Brutus. He is comparing all through. He is comparing the behavior of the horse to actually the behavior of Cassius, and he feels that this is how the lovely situation which they used to share, a very warm and friendly relation which Brutus and Cassius used to share, is perhaps just sinking. It's just perhaps dying down. Sink in his trial. Okay, comes his army on. Whose army? It's Cassius's army. So Lucilius says, they mean this night in Sardis to be quartered. That is, they are supposed to be there in Sardis, and they want to stay there. And it is the capital city of Lydia, which is now a part of Turkey. It is now presently a part of Turkey, and it is the capital city of Lydia, Lydia, Lydia. All right. The greater part, the horse in general, are come with Cassius. That is the greater part, the horse in general, they are the main force. That is the cavalry. That is who are the cavalry? The horse regiment actually, and are come with Cassius. That is, they have come with Cassius. So enter Cassius and soldiers. Brutus says, "Hark, he has arrived. March gently on to meet him." Cassius says, "Stand ho." Brutus says, "Stand ho, speak the word along." That is, just pass on the order. Tell the others that this has been ordered. That is, you have to stand. First soldier says, "Stand." Second soldier, "Stand." Third soldier, "Stand." Cassius says, "Most noble brother, you have done me wrong." Now we do know of many instances when Brutus has overruled Cassius. I've given in my list of questions quite a number of times that name the times. How many times has Brutus overruled Cassius? We know that he has overruled Cassius 3 times before the murder of Caesar, and after the murder of Caesar, till now he has overruled him once. Let's see what happens further. So Brutus says, "Judge me, O God, judge me, you gods. Wrong I mine enemies." That is, do I wrong? Do I do something wrong with mine enemies? If not so, and if not so, how should I wrong a brother? History says Cassius is supposed to be Brutus's brother-in-law, so he is calling him a brother. And if not so, how should I wrong a brother? Now Cassius says, "Brutus, this form of yours, this sober form of yours, hides wrongs." That is, you are being very sober now. But this holds back your wrong actions from coming forward, from being known to people. That is, you are trying to camouflage your wrong attitudes, your wrong actions with your good behavior, with your sober form. And when you do them, then now Brutus says, "Cassius, be content. Speak your griefs softly." Why is Brutus saying so? He doesn't want their matter to be discussed in front of the soldiers. I do know you well. Before the eyes of both our armies here, That is, Brutus's army is there, Cassius's army is there. Brutus is not willing to discuss matters in front of them. Let us not, which should perceive nothing but love from us. Brutus says that both the armies, they should perceive nothing except love from us. Then in my tent, Cassius, enlarge your griefs. Then when the armies go away, please come to my tent and please tell me your griefs. Please come out with your griefs. Enlarge your griefs means, that is, put your complaints forward to me in full. I need to hear them. And I will give you audience, that is, I will listen to you. Cassius says, Pindarus, bid our commanders and lead their charges off a little from this ground. That is, ask our commanders to take our charges, means armies, a bit far off from this ground, so that they are not able to hear what we are talking about. And Brutus commands Lucius the same thing. Brutus says, Lucius, do the like, that is, do the same. That is, you also take the charges or the armies a little away from this place, so that we can talk freely. And let no man come to our tent till we have done our conference. That is, let no man come here till we have finished with what we want to discuss. Till we have till we have done our conference, means till we have finished our conference. Lucilius and Titinius guard our door. That is, who are the ones who have to guard the door while Brutus and Cassius are discussing matters amongst themselves? They are Lucilius and Titinius. They have been entrusted the work by whom? They have been entrusted the work by Brutus. So you can see that we have finished Act 4, Scene 2 as well. We will be beginning with Scene 3 in the next class. But before that, please make sure that you go through the text as you are listening to my lecture and do become thorough with it. Please come up with any doubts or questions, and I'll definitely write them out for you and solve your doubts. And I'll definitely get in touch with you if you are in a problem. So we'll meet in the next class. Thank you so much.